Hi guys, so before I get started I am going to apologise for the lighting because when I started to set everything up it was quite light out, but now there seems to have a storm coming. So today's video is a nice quick one because it is the series that I had started in 2019 and finished in 2019, and let me tell you, there's not many. So I wanted to get into them quite quickly as I don't want to dwell on them. Let's forget about 2019, let's move into 2020 and forget about the fact that your girl is awful at finishing series. The middle grade books that I have started the series and I am up to date with, so yes, they aren't finished in 2019, but as of 2019 I was up to date with. So my first one is going to be the Disney villains. Now these are retellings based on the Disney movies of, there's quite a few. We've got the Snow White's mother or evil queen. We've got Beauty and the Beast, the Little Mermaid, and so on and so forth. So when I was reading The Beast Within, there were names popping up left, right and centre and I had no idea who these people were. Which then led me to believe that maybe I was missing out on something. And then Ursula's name popped up. Now I know at the time that there was another book called Poor Unfortunate Souls, which was the Little Mermaid retelling, which I wasn't too fussed about to start with. However, that then made me think that maybe there was an order that I needed to read these books in. So I hopped online, googled it, and lo and behold, there is a reading order. So I ended up having to go back out, and I buy these from Asda in the 2 for £7, or they are like £4.50, and I am currently up to date. I have heard that they are bringing more out, which confused me a little bit. So the most recent one is The Odd Sisters. Now if you've read from the beginning up to this one, you'll realise that the Odd Sisters pop up the entire way through the series, and I thought that the entire book about the Odd Sisters was going to be a really good way to wrap up the series because it's just based on them. There's no other storylines in this bit. There is occasional mentions of the other books, or I should say the other characters in the books. There are mentions of things that they have done to the other characters, and this just wraps it up really, really nicely. But like I said, I have heard that they are considering bringing out more, so I don't know where they're going to take that, but either way, because I'm a sucker for a series and I'm a sucker for retellings, I'm going to buy it. Again, another series that I have started in 2019, and it literally was my first read of 2019, is City of Ghosts. Now the book itself is amazing on its own. This could have quite easily been a standalone, which originally I did think it was going to be. However, the fact that they then came out with Tunnel of Bones blew me away. I didn't know how this could continue, even though the final chapter does give that impression. It leaves you on a bit of a cliffhanger, which then obviously then takes us to Tunnel of Bones. Now not only do these look absolutely stunning together and they look beautiful on the shelf, but the storyline is fantastic. It's not frightening, it's just the right amount of spook. So we follow Cassidy Blake, who travels the world with her parents. Her parents host a TV paranormal investigation show, which she knows that they don't really believe in. Her mother is looking at the supernatural side of things, and her father is looking at the scientific side of things. Neither of them are aware that Cassidy can actually see paranormal entities. So we follow Cassidy Blake going around Edinburgh in the first one, and then in Paris in the second one. And I don't want to give too much away because I feel like Stepping into this new world should be done blindly. It is filled with trouble, adventure, fun and excitement. I definitely recommend these if you want something nice and quick to read. I originally had City of Ghosts on Audible and then I picked up the book as well. I have actually read the book twice and listened to it once because I enjoyed it so much, and one was a reread just before Tunnel of Bones. I know that there is a third book which I think is possibly called The Bridge of Souls, but don't quote me on that one. So that technically I am up to date as of 2019, but the series is not finished yet. Again, in the middle grade is my favourite trilogy of ever for middle grades, I have to say. So this is the Perfect trilogy, and I'm not just saying that, it is. We have The Place Called Perfect, The Trouble with Perfect, and The Battle for Perfect. So in this book we follow Violet and her family, who have moved into a town called Perfect. Things seem to start becoming very peculiar, with people drinking tea and their eyesight becoming very, very blurry all of a sudden. Everybody in the town wears glasses, and they go to these two brothers who claim to be able to fix their eyesight regardless of the damage. Violet wants to know why everybody wears glasses and why all of a sudden her mother is so involved in everything social wise, and why her father is never at home. All of these changes have happened ever since they moved to Perfect, and she wants to know why. I enjoyed this trilogy so much. It is over, and I was putting off reading A Battle for Perfect. Part of me really wanted to read it to see what was happening next, but then the other part of me didn't want to finish it at all. I did also flip between audiobooks with these. I thoroughly recommend the audiobooks on Scribd. I'm not 100% sure who did the narration for them, but I can always pop that up on the screen somewhere. The Place Called Perfect I read on its own, but then the final two I actually listened to the audiobook. The narrator was fantastic. Her voices changed constantly. She played all the parts. She did them really well. It was a big thumbs up for me. So now we come to the young adult books. This series I am a bit confused by. My feelings to this series are very confused. And that is the Folk of Air, I think the series is called. It is the Cruel Prince, the Wicked King and the Queen of Nothing. Now, I don't actually own the Queen of Nothing. I had this on Audible with a returned credit, purely because, one, I did not enjoy the Wicked King as much as I had hoped, as much as other people seemed to, and I didn't feel like the reviews on the Queen of Nothing were going to make me want to buy the Queen of Nothing. So, either way, The Cruel Prince, once I got over the extreme violence in the beginning, about halfway through it really picked up for me, and I was so pleased that I continued with it. I loved the entire book. So when I got to The Wicked King, which I immediately purchased, again I thought, oh, halfway through, keep going, let's see if it gets better. It did not. I dislike this book so much. So much. I liked the final chapter. The best part for me was the end. I do enjoy the characters of Jude and Cardan. I enjoy their backwards and forwards of not knowing where they stand with each other. The fact that neither of them know where they stand with each other. However, it just started to get all a bit samey. So when The Queen of Nothing came out, I was not rushing to the shops to go and buy the book. I was also quite surprised that even people who had read the rest of the series had then read Queen of Nothing and then also felt very underwhelmed by it. But as I said, I had a returned credit from Audible and thought, I'm not going to lose out. If I'm not enjoying it halfway through, I'll return the title. I ended up listening to it all and I did get quite enthralled in it, and I enjoyed it probably more than The Wicked King. Not as much as The Cruel Prince, but more than The Wicked King, which isn't that difficult. And the final series that I completed in 2019 is The Ark of the Scythes. Now, as much as I said I really love the Perfect Trilogy, Scythe without a doubt was my favourite read of 2019. So in this we follow Citra and Rowan, who are the apprentices to one particular scythe. In a world where everybody is immune to diseases, there are cures for all of the illnesses you can think of, everybody is living until they are gleaned by the scythe. That is the only way a person can die. Now, scythes are almost like a government to an extent. They go by statistics and they decide who to pick to glean to lower the population. The premise of this book I didn't think I was going to enjoy. I'd never read a dystopian before, especially about murder. The second one was Thunderhead, and then we had The Toll as the third one. Thunderhead was concentrating mainly on the computer base, which watches over everybody but has no control over the scythes whatsoever. So if somebody was to splatter themselves or splat themselves, basically attempt to injure themselves or are in an accident and injured through no fault of their own, the Thunderhead would then automatically go through all the cameras. They would then see that somebody was injured and would send out help. Now, The Toll for me, I don't even know where to go with this book, because I was incredibly excited about the fact that it was going to be a chonker of a book. And it is. I had to purchase this because I needed to finish the series. I then ended up again with a credit on Audible going for The Toll because I could not physically sit and read this and keep my eyes open. I don't understand why you would bring in so many new characters in the final book. In the second one, maybe. Final book? No. Why are you doing that? There was so many new characters, new places, new secrets coming out, new side plots, all in the final book, and I have no idea. It was such a letdown. I had enjoyed The Scythe, I had enjoyed Thunderhead. The Toll just completely left me disappointed. I was so annoyed because I had enjoyed Scythe so much. Thunderhead dipped a little bit but picked back up again. And I was just heartbroken that this was looking to be my favourite series of 2019 and it just... no. No. So there you have it. They are the series that I finished in 2019. I told you it wasn't going to be very long because I don't finish series. That is my thing. So I'd like to know whether you've read any of these, whether you have any thoughts or opinions on any of them. Have you finished any series or have you still got some to go this year? Have you started them in 2019 and need to finish them in 2020? Or have you just lost control of all your series like I have? If you've liked this video, then please don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day. Bye!